would be wrong. That's less than 1 in 100 billion. So understand in normal mathematics that all should be wrong.
And the other, Jim Wells.
That was the short answer. Sorry.
Do you want a mic, or can you?
No, I think
Jim Wells.
I shouldn't be in politics. Obviously, what you said is a matter of concern. I mean, as we sit here at the minute, this entire building is Wi-Fi. And the reason I asked why the television screens had to be on night and day in this building, we leave our TV screens on all night. Well, the reason is because the Wi-Fi unit is on top of the television screens. And therefore the power source is from the television screen to the Wi-Fi. So this entire building, as we said, we're subjected to that. On it's 11 o'clock at night. Of course, they'll be switching it off, so it's 24 hours a day. But being realistic about it, there are now almost as many mobile phones in Northern Ireland as there are people. You said there are billions of pounds being sold for in the UK alone. So you're talking about an industry that's in every aspect of our society. It's an industry that's going to be very hard to change and turn. Surely you should be going towards safer Wi-Fi devices and safer mobile phones, rather than trying to turn them.
I agree, and you know, it's very much the same discussion in Sweden. And of course, while we are speaking, I'm sure the industry is right now at their laboratories inventing, get to the consumers tomorrow, a new green, human-friendly one. And of course, the company that will produce a safe system, they will be the big winners. They will sell it to everyone throughout the world, and hopefully they will be able to come up with solutions. I think they are aware. But in Sweden, at least, I cannot talk about Belfast, but in Sweden, the industry very often says that they need a push from the political they want them to do. And therefore, for instance, the decision in the European Parliament is important because they want to introduce, instead of technical guidelines, they want to have biologically based guidelines taken into, and as a compromise in the by-initiative report, we said that an initial step could be a lowering by 1,000 times of the background irradiation. And it's interesting because we made an experiment yesterday, and still systems will work because these telecom systems, they work on a huge overkill. All this irradiation is not necessary actually, and you can build much more intelligent systems with much more intelligent algorithms, small signal, etc., etc., etc. But the industry, as long as no one tells them that you have to do this, I mean, they will not automatically do it. They need this push, and therefore in Sweden, the last days actually, there has been an industry that has taken on these signs from the European Parliament very much, and I think they are on the road to produce new technologies soon. Whether that will solve it or not, you know, it's often when there is a new technical revolution, it creates new problems and on. But we have to cope with them then, you know.
Okay, Jim, thanks very much. Anybody else? Roland?
Professor, what do you see as the tipping point here? Because I can't help but think that this is something that we probably will try and ignore and hope that it goes away, and from what you're saying, it's not going to go away. Now, if I can parallel this with a potential threat in a school, and bearing in mind with some young people here today. So let's say it was a human threat to young people, for the benefit of that, the example. If there was a human threat to any children in a school, what do we do? Do we wait until the crime is committed before we address it? Or do we address it now? And I suppose in many ways is the tipping point here. What is likely to happen from your experience? What's likely to happen when people really will sit up and take notice?
Well, I think just by being here is such a tipping point. You do address the issue, the problem, and also I see that, for instance, the decisions in the European Parliament has been such a tipping point, and it's impossible to sort of move backwards on that too. And there will be changes in public expertise, etc., etc. And again, whether that really will prove to be equal to a safety measure, that's not maybe true, and scientifically, if you would